And welcome to another episode of Seeds of Music. I'm your host, Kyle Williams, and this is the #1 web show where aspiring independent artists and do-it-yourself musicians can learn right now how to gain wider exposure, grow a strong base of raving fans, and make a living doing what they love. On this week's episode, we have Jeremy Gocke from Fliptu talking about how to engage fans that aren't going to your shows. And how exactly we do this? We do this through the service he's created called Fliptu. So stay tuned to learn more. All right, guys, welcome to another episode of Seeds of Music. We have on the show today Jeremy Gocke from Fliptu. Jeremy, thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you, Kyle. Glad to be here.
Awesome, man. You're actually based in Los Angeles, aren't you?
Yes, we are. I'm actually in Phoenix today for some investor meetings, but
Okay.
we are based in lovely Los Angeles, yeah.
Out in Culver City, right? So it's you.
Actually, we're up in Ventura right now and looking for space down in Culver City, maybe 7 miles.
Oh yeah, that's right, because we had talked over the phone about it. So we're actually not too far away, because I'm in the valley as well. So Jeremy, can you tell me what exactly is Fliptu?
Sure. So Fliptu is what we call a social hub as a service. It's a platform that enables brands, creators, organizations, and in this case, bands and musicians, a way to aggregate their social media presence into a master kind of promotable page so that their super fans can keep up with everything that they've got going on with their bands.
Okay, and kind of like more, I guess, like layman terms, like what do you mean by aggregate? And does that mean just like taking stuff from other social media websites and putting it in one place?
Yeah, pretty much. So we actually have two offerings. One is what we call a social fan page.
Okay.
And that enables the band or artist in this case the ability to sync and import all of their official social media accounts into one promotable page. That lives on Fliptu, but can also be exported and embedded to their core website or as a Facebook page tab. And then we have our Social Hub product, which we just recently launched. That's actually aggregating basically the fan conversation that's occurring on social media. So if you have a band hashtag or a tour hashtag relevant to your band, we can pull in, what fans are sharing in real time across Twitter, Instagram, Vine, and YouTube right now.
So, what's like the prime benefit for having these services for the independent? Let's say you're an independent artist and you're trying to build a fan base. What would be the benefit here?
Well, I think it all goes back to the problem in the marketplace, and I think this applies for all brands. For instance, I was running an apparel group with multiple brands and multiple sponsored athletes where we were managing their digital presence. What we found was we were spending a significant amount of time, money, and effort on pushing media out, but not really seeing a lift in engagement or sales. And I think what everybody's seeing in the marketplace now is so much noise, right? I mean, millions of brands are pushing things across Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, etc. But it's very difficult for fans to keep up with that information. So, and it's very disjointed across the various services. You've got a certain type of environment on Twitter, one on Facebook, one on Instagram. It's like, as a fan, where do I go? And when do I go? How do I keep up with you? And so our real simple solution to it was, hey, let's put it all in one spot for our super fans, give them a single point of engagement. And when we launched that social fan page prototype, it was we had huge response to it. So I guess in a nutshell, the problem it's solving is just cutting through that noise and giving your super fans a way to keep up with your brand, or in this case, your band, 24/7.
Okay, so it's basically taking like fans that you've already created and just like being able to communicate with them more effectively.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, everything's created on the Fliptu platform, but it's all built to be embedded on your core website. So you're also, you're capturing and engaging that existing fan traffic to your website or your Facebook page tab.
Do you still have to go to like the different social media platforms to create content, or does Fliptu have some kind of option to create the content specifically for each platform?
Yeah, so right now we have the outbound capabilities for Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. And then the plan is over time to kind of, integrate more of those social platforms. We don't want to be competitive with Hootsuite and those types of services, but we found that there is a contingent of our brand customer base that wanted some basic outbound tools, and so we built those.
So can you upload videos from YouTube per se from like the Fliptu interface and have that show up, or do you have to go to youtube.com?
No, so we work on kind of an embed or like a embedly model where you can enter a link and it will grab that piece of media and populate it to your Fliptu page, and then you can subsequently kind of push that out to the other networks.
So what would you think would be the most effective strategy for? Because I know that actually, can you give us some examples of some of the bigger name artists who are using Fliptu right now?
I'm sorry, what was the question?
Can you give us some names of some bigger named artists, musicians that are using Fliptu?
Yeah, sure. So like I said, we just launched our Social Hub product this summer, and we did it in conjunction with a few different big high-profile tours. So we powered a Social Hub for Darius Rucker on his True Believers tour, one for Matchbox 20 on their international tour.
Yeah, okay.
So those were kind of test cases, and the feedback from fans was awesome. I mean, they loved it, right? Because in the past, they were kind of bouncing between services, getting bits and pieces of the experience, but we pull it all into one spot, give them kind of this beautifully, kind of continuously scrolling interface to keep up with the tour.
So Social Hub is a way for because obviously whenever you go on tour, not all your fans are going to be able to attend each show. So Social Hub is essentially a way to experience for fans who can't make it to have some kind of experience with that tour, with that show.
Yeah, absolutely. So one of the things we noticed, kind of running our own events was that only a small portion of our customer base or our fan base was able to make it out to our events.
Yeah.
And so this whole ability to aggregate now around the various social media services enables you to create what we call kind of a vicarious experience. So if I can't make it out to Darius's show in Nashville, well, I can go to his concert Social Hub and get a feel for what's occurring at that show from the fans on the ground. And so that resonates quite well with the fans.
Okay, and what kind of strategy would you recommend as far as implementing Fliptu into their strategy for, let's say, the independent artist who is just building a grassroots fan base? If they were to, because they can create a social hub, I mean, is there a cost or is it free?
Right now, everything's free in our beta period, and that will continue through the end of the year, probably through Q1 of 2014.
Okay.
We'll always have a free version, a free basic version.
Okay.
And then we'll have some upgrade packages to get some additional bells and whistles. So if you want to aggregate around multiple hashtags, or if you want to integrate e-commerce into your social hub, that'll be an upgrade piece. But the basic single hashtag social hub is always going to be free. Also, the social fan page will always be free.
Okay.
So so we really looked at this as kind of a no downside proposition for the brand owner, in this case the do-it-yourself band or artist.
Yeah, that's what I'm, because I know with the larger name artists, they already have brand awareness through traditional media outlets. But what I'm concerned about is the do-it-yourself musicians, the independent artists who have small grassroots fan bases that are local, or maybe they've built a small following just through sweat equity, just elbow grease on maybe just Facebook alone or Facebook and Twitter. So they have that small fan base. What would be your recommendation for them as far as what they do with Fliptu? Like what steps would they need to take to start connecting better with the fans that they already have?
Well, I think it's just a matter of going to fliptu.com and signing up as a brand. We kind of
So not personal as a brand signed up, because I noticed you have two options.
right, and
Okay.
we're a work in progress, and so we're always testing new landing
Okay.
pages to kind of increase the push through. But right now it's a brand and a personal account. The brand account applies to folks that are using this for their bands or their businesses.
Okay.
And so it's a real quick process. It's a single screen connect of social accounts. Literally could have all of their social accounts connected within a minute or so. That the system takes over, starts building out their social fan page, and then once that occurs, they can just we have an export wizard where they can create an embed and just paste that either on their website, their blog, their Facebook tab, and be live in a few minutes.
Okay, so that seemed I like that because I know some people that come to watch the show on Seeds of Music, they don't have a website yet, but they have a Facebook. So you'll give them some code that they can take and put into their fan page tab, and then if they have a website, it'll churn out some HTML code where they can go and put that on their site. But it's as far as so I like that. As far as once they create these pages, the promotion is pretty much up to the musician, correct? Or do you have ways for brand owners on Fliptu to promote their Fliptu platform through your systems? Is there something like that exists?
Well, every piece of media that lives on Fliptu can be shared out to the various services, right?
Okay.
Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest, Tumblr, and so in that regard, yes, they can share out. But the overall promotion of the page is still up to the band or the artist.
Okay,
right?
gotcha.
Yeah.
So okay, yeah, I understand that, and that kind of that's good in a sense for the do-it-yourself musician, because they prefer to have control over the marketing and the promotion. They prefer to take responsibility for their own careers, and so a lot of them are actually doing that themselves. And it just seems like Fliptu. I mean, I'm just really interested to see where Fliptu goes, because you said you're in the beta stage. I mean, what are your future plans to improve Fliptu? And you said move it out of the beta stage in the first quarter of next year. I mean, what do you see the final product being?
I mean, that's a great question. I mean, I'm not sure what the final product looks like.
Because it's determined by the market, in a sense. You're getting feedback from people, right?
Right. We're getting a lot of feedback. We're not specifically focused on music. Of course, music is a big driver.
Oh, okay.
But we're kind of pushing into all the lifestyle verticals: music, sports, entertainment, fashion.
Okay.
And what we're starting to see is, Fliptu is a platform, right? So
Okay.
it has a standard set of features that are available to everybody.
Yeah.
Well,
Just like I
starting
could
to
be
see-
interviewing anybody, not just about music.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And those features do pretty well across all verticals. But we're starting to see a need, even in music, to do some more customized modules or features. And so that's what we're taking a look at right now in terms of our product roadmap. And we're, whether, we, for instance, in music, we do a bands in town integration where also on your social hub, you could have
Okay.
your tour dates as, an add-on or a module. Or do we just launch an API and let developers start building tools on the platform?
Oh, okay.
It's a strategic issue that we're dealing with right now. We're not really sure which direction we're going in yet, because we're still pretty young, just a few months out in the marketplace. But I think what you'll see, kind of Q2, Q3 are more kind of customizable modules for each vertical. So if you're a band, it'll be a little different flavor. If you're an apparel brand, a little different flavor. So that's kind of where we're going.
Is there are there any specific benefits to joining on while you're still in beta?
Well, I mean, everything's free. And I think that the biggest value proposition is that everything's exportable and embeddable. So we give you the tools. Our system kind of does all the aggregation for you, and you put that on your website or your Facebook tab and enjoy the benefits of increased time on site, because that's actually one metric that we can report on now, is that we're seeing anywhere from a 20 to 60% increase in time on site for the embeds.
Can you explain time on site just a little bit more?
Sure.
Just because I'm not sure if anyone listening would exactly understand what that means.
Right. So you typically, a visitor comes to your website, they spend a certain amount of time on site.
Okay, gotcha.
We've found, across multiple brand embeds, so whether it's, Darius's website or, Globe Shoes website, when they put on the social hub or the social fan page, they're seeing an increase of 20 to 60% time spent on site. So whenever you have more time on site, it's more opportunities to convert, to engage with your fans.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds like key, because one thing that I've been pushing with particularly a few people that I work with, a few musicians in the Los Angeles area, is having an emphasis on getting people back to your website and signing up to an email newsletter where you can have their email address and be able to communicate and market in that very personal medium. Because emails, there's nothing more personal than email when it comes to electronic communication mediums. I mean, people giving an email address is like giving a piece of trust, and in order to get that conversion, you need to get people to your site. And so what I'm thinking is having the Fliptu interface embedded on your website. You're a musician, you've got a page with Fliptu, and so people, whenever they want to connect with you in every way possible, having all this aggregation of social media, they come to your website, they check out this Fliptu module that you embed, and then you can then have the opportunity to direct that traffic over to an email sign up, or to awareness on an album release or an event or anything like that that's specifically controllable in your website. And I think that's a pretty powerful thing, which makes me the most interested about what Fliptu will be doing in the future for musicians, for sure.
Yeah, to be honest, you start out with a hypothesis when you launch a product. Mm-hmm. And initially, Fliptu was going to be a destination platform. So mm-hmm. everything lived on Fliptu. You as a band or brand would redirect your fans to Fliptu. And then we kind of took our own gut check, right? Being brand owners ourselves, and said, you know what? We'll try that, but let's get some feedback. And the feedback early on was, we love it, we get it, but I don't want, I guess, we don't want to send our fan traffic to another destination site, because, for instance, Facebook, right? That's your fan base, but guess what? If you want to reach all of them, you got to pay for it. And so, we were kind of fighting that battle of, the Facebook residual, kind of who owns the fan base issue. So we said, all right, we're not going to push this as a destination platform. Certainly, you create everything on Fliptu, but it deserves to live on your core website. Engage your existing fans. Yeah. You capture the emails. That's your fan base.
Yeah, and I think that's at the core of what musicians need to be doing more of, is having like a brand that's centralized around a website, and that you have control over how your fans like operate and flow through traffic on the web. So it's kind of like. I'm very excited. Even though you guys have only been, have been out for a few months and you're in the beta stage, I'm very excited to see where you guys go. And being a tech startup, I know that there's like a lot going on in the tech world, and a lot of tech startups popping up here and there, and a lot of money flowing into it. What is your personal opinion on, how likely do you think it is that technology will help solve the musician's dilemma of making a living off of their craft?
Oh man, that's a big question.
I was gonna, give it your best shot.
I look at technology as just a means to an end. I mean, our focus And again, this all goes back to, Fliptu was built to scratch our own itch. I mean, being brand owners, we know how challenging it is
Yeah.
to reach fans in this very noisy environment. So, our technological solution in aggregation, we think is a good step in that direction. But again, I think it goes back to your point of the technology needs to give, in this case, the band or the artist, the ability to control their own destiny, control their own fan base. Mm-hmm. And I think you hear a lot of that rumbling right now out in the marketplace, whether it's Facebook or YouTube.
Yeah.
It's like, well, YouTube, they've got a monopoly on the market. They control the ad rev share.
Yeah.
You built the fan base, but they're monetizing it.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you're getting a small piece of it. So I think I hear rumblings of people wanting to, kind of take their fan base off of these platforms into their own environments. And Fliptu is just one of those tools that will enable that, right? Mm-hmm. I'm not saying we're the end-all, be-all, but I think we're a good step in the right direction.
Well, I know that just as a brand owner myself, it's very exciting, the idea of simplifying something, because it's, there's so many platforms out there in the social media space or the media sharing space that it's amazing it's amazing to think that you could have, you could bring about a solution that simplifies all of that. And I'm just a big fan of simplicity. So I'm very excited to see what happens in the future with Fliptu. Very much.
Thanks. Yeah, we're pretty excited too. Again, we're not sure where it's going, but so far so good, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I think.
But that's the entrepreneurial spirit, man. You're an entrepreneur, you're a tech startup, and that's part of the excitement. I mean, I can kind of share that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a T-shirt guy that saw a problem and pulled together a strong technical team and a good kind of network of advisors. And
are you wearing one of the T-shirts you designed right now?
Actually, no. This is a Techstars T-shirt. I was a mentor at one of their Patriot boot camps last summer. So Techstars is a big, tech accelerator network.
Oh, really? Is it kind of like Y Combinator?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, okay.
They're probably number 2 behind Y Combinator in terms of popularity and amount of deal flow. But yeah, they had
based out
of. I think they started in Colorado, in Denver, and then they've got presence in multiple cities right now. And we went out there to be part of their Patriot boot camp last summer. It was a special track program for veterans coming out of the military wanting to get into tech. And so,
interesting.
Yeah, so it was a cool experience and got the T-shirt right.
Okay, right on. Well, man, Jeremy, I'm going to close up this interview with one last question. What is your favorite album, and what would your life be like if it never existed?
Yeah, man, I'm a huge Pearl Jam fan, and
nice.
And you always say the first album, right? Is and it was because it literally got me through my college experience, which was at West Point, the military academy.
Oh, really? Oh,
yeah, not a real fun place to be. And
I have a relative that went through West Point.
Okay,
he flies helicopters now.
Okay. Yeah, we couldn't have we couldn't even have radios the first year, but once we could, I mean, Pearl Jam saved my life, man. That's why I love music. It's got such an emotional impact on our lives for different reasons. Mm-hmm. But yeah, that Pearl Jam definitely got me through some hard times.
Can you do your best Eddie Vedder impression? Everybody's got one.
Hell no, I wouldn't.
Yeah. I do it, but it usually gets I usually overdo it and it ends up sounding like Scott Stapp from Creed. So that's all right. I was just seeing just if maybe you would do it, but it's okay.
I would not dishonor Eddie and join.
Right on. All right, Jeremy. Well, thanks again for coming on, man. And what's I'm just really excited. Let's stay in touch and see where Fliptu goes and how it evolves.
Yeah, absolutely. My pleasure. And anytime, we're available to help out, whether it's interviews or workshops or what have you.
Okay.
One parting message, we will start having kind of weekly screencasts over Join Me. I mean, the system's self-service. It's pretty easy. We could always improve upon it, but we're going to just start doing that as a way to walk people through the onboarding process, and then just best practices and cool ideas that we're seeing out.
Okay, so maybe like kind of a boot camp or training ground for how to get the most out of Fliptu.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're going to start that fairly soon. We'll probably try a couple in December and then really hit it hard in Q1.
Okay, excellent. Do you have like a newsletter where people can get updates on Fliptu?
Yeah, I mean, as soon as you sign on, there are multiple notification emails that you can get from the kind of the monthly newsletter to some special digest emails.
All right, excellent. All right, Jeremy. All right, I know you're a busy man. You got some meetings in Arizona, so I will say adios.
All right, thanks again, Kyle.
No problem.
And that wraps up this week's episode of Seeds of Music. We had Jeremy Gocke from Fliptu on the show talking about how to engage fans that aren't going to your shows. Make sure to check out his links below. 3 times is a charm. So next, sign up for the email newsletter if you haven't had a chance, or if you've been putting it off. Stop doing that. Head over to the site, seedsofmusic.net, and sign up. Put in your email address. There's no spam ever. Just some awesome, good, updated content. You will never miss another interview. Next, if you like this interview, share it and like it on every platform you've ever known in the existence of mankind, because the more you share, the more these ideas spread, and the more these ideas spread, the better it is for all us independent artists. And lastly, comment on the video. What was your greatest takeaway from the interview? How will you apply what you learned? And who would you like to see interviewed? Send an email to kyle.seedsofmusic@gmail.com. It's my personal Seeds of Music official Gmail address. I answer every single email, and most of it will take me 2 days to get back to you, but rest assured, I will. Until next time.